everybody, today we have ourselves an interesting little tree job. I guess it's not a really little tree, it's a fairly big tree. But the challenge is we got to work on this limb. It's way out over the house here. It reaches way out past the center of the house, past the ridge, and we've got to rig that stuff all the way back down to right here in front. So this is a challenge that sometimes is a little bit of a struggle for some climbers, especially if you're new and you don't quite know how to do it. So I'm going to show you as much as I can today, and we're going to hopefully get you some information to make good decisions and tackle this kind of a project on your own. Alright, so the system we're going to use here today, I think I've heard referred to as a load transfer system. Everybody's got a different name for it, I'm sure. We've got our main rigging point over there on that limb, and that hangs down over the sidewalk there. But for us to swing this stuff that far is going to endanger the roof below us. So at least it might not hit on this side, but on this part over here, it definitely would swing too low and hit the house. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a rigging system here. We're going to hang this piece up on it, and then we're going to hold this one locked off. And so as this piece gets lowered on the green rope, it's going to want to eventually swing down slowly and controlled, and eventually the blue rope will be supporting the load. And that's where the name load transfer comes from, is we put the load on the green rope, and then eventually the load ends up on the blue rope. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sweat the blue rope, lock it off, and then we'll put probably just one wrap on the green rope to let it run just a smidge. I'll make this cut, and you'll see how it goes.
Hold up, stop the video. I want to clarify something that I wasn't able to real clearly communicate while I was up in the tree. That green rope is not actually 100% necessary to keep the branch from swinging and hitting the house. Theoretically, in a world where rope stretch and dynamic forces don't exist, that blue rope would be able to keep the branch off the house, and it would just take a really violent swing out to some power lines that were on the street, and then eventually the swing would, settle down and they'd be able to lower it. But in a world where ropes do stretch and falling branches that hit ropes do stretch them more, that green rope keeps us from having to let that blue rope run, and also keeps us from having to absorb the dynamic forces that would hit that rope when I cut the branch off, if only the blue rope was on there. Now, in a situation where we had a lot less clearance to work with, this system could be even better because we could put the GRCS on that blue rope, and once the piece was cut off, we could let the green rope out slowly while also winching up on the blue rope, which would then move that piece horizontally through the air without actually losing any vertical space. So, that being said, keep those things in mind as we go. The green rope is really just to arrest the dynamic velocity of that piece before we slowly transition it to the blue rope. Back to the video.
All right, here we go. Nice, that was good work. Okay, and then Matt, you just hold on to the blue rope there, and Kendra, you go ahead and let that green rope out, and you'll notice it'll drift over there and kind of between the two spots and eventually be under the block that we'll lower it from. And then Chris, if you want to approach it, so that way you can kind of help guide it and keep it away from the landscaping lights and such. There you go, and you can just lay it down. Try to get the butt towards the chipper probably if you can. Nice. All right, thank you. Good success. Good work, everybody. All right, got the next one all tied up. Got the block there. We're gonna have the green rope run just a smidge more, I think, this one. Kind of in a precarious spot up here, so I'm gonna finish this with a handsaw. Nice, that was really good. Good job, Kendra, that was super smooth. As you can see by the cones down there, we've got a fragile light pole to avoid. Laid the cones over because they're easier to see from up here than if they're sitting upright. Okay, here we go. That's okay, it wasn't a real heavy piece. Didn't have a lot of momentum to pull the rope through the porta wrap. All right, we're on the other side of this branch now. This thing reaches out over the ridge. So I got a little bit of an angled notch on it. We're gonna send it kind of towards the chimney. And it's gonna tuck under. On this side of the branch, we're much farther away from that block. It also doesn't help that it's redirected out of that limb, but it is what it is. Here we go. That was good work, everybody. That was real good work. All right, we got our last piece of brush up here. It's also the one that reaches the farthest out. We're gonna swing it down around, just like the last one. I got that block up there just because that's been an easy position to work off of for everything up here. It looks like we got a chance to finish it with the handsaw. Very nice. Very nice. That's what we like. People like to joke about the roof sweep, but that can tear up shingles, so I try to avoid it at all possible costs. Well, not all possible costs, but I'm not even sure what that term really means. I gotta think about that. All right, here goes a piece of wood. I got myself set up here with this rope holding it. Chris, can you let out a little blue rope? Just a little bit. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Now we're getting to the wood. Stuff is... Ew. Was that the saw that blobbered all that? That's gross. I think that's borrowing. Gross. When we're doing wood, we're not worried about having enough length to scrape the roof anymore. But we don't want to send this wood swinging wild and crazy all the way over and into those power lines over there. So this rope just keeps control of it at this point. That's worked out okay. We gave the sidewalk just a kiss. That was beautiful, Matt. That was a really good one. Alright, we don't have to put our flip line on this piece anymore, so I'm just going to cut straight through it. We got our flip line up over here. It's not really in a flip line configuration, but it's our second tie-in point. Ooh, you okay? Was that stretched that much? Wow, that was all rope stretch. Alright, we got this thing pre-tensioned pretty tight, so we won't have a rope stretch problem again. We'll cut this thing off of here. Fantastic. Oh, set it up on the end. Well done, well done.
I think that answers your question.
That was fantastic. So, some fun stuff that you can see here in this big old limb that we cut off. The heartwood is right here. It's not in the center. It's all the way up here. And the reason for that is that when this tree has got this big old limb hanging on it, this side of the limb is in compression and this side is in tension. And wood is stronger in tension than it is in compression. And so the tree can feel that force on it, and it produces more wood every year on the bottom side to help compensate for all that compression. I think that's just really cool that trees can detect forces and react to them appropriately. Well, folks, I didn't really get to film an outro on site there as we just had to wrap things up and keep moving, and I just didn't have a moment. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you want to see more of this stuff, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.